Thank you. Okay, good evening, well good day, good afternoon to you guys. It's just actually, it's evening here, it's about 9 o'clock, isn't it? So my name's Nancy, we're from Bath Spa University, and let me introduce the wonderful people in our webcast today. James is over here as a study abroad student from Montana.
Yep.
Yeah.
Montana State.
I said it right, didn't I? Yeah. And Thomas is actually one of our full-time degree students who is studying photography.
Yeah, photography this year.
Photography this year. James, you're studying business. Is that right? Okay, right. So that's who we are. So first of all, I'm going to whiz through a little bit about our university, just so it's in context, really. And then we're going to tell you 10 secrets about studying in England. And this is aimed to give you a bit of an idea, really, about what it's really like over here. So, right, okay, so let's go. So, excuse me while I lean in. Introductions we've done, so let's go on to the next bit. The city of Bath. Okay, this is our wonderful country, England. Very small compared to the United States. Yeah, we were discussing earlier about 3 Englands would fit into Montana State. But you can see roughly where we are. Bath is here in the southwest. So that gives you a little bit of an idea. And then on the next slide, you'll kind of see the southwest. We're about 90 minutes from London on the train, so not so far. But we're always on a little bit of a traditional tourist visit, really, because that's the type of place Bath is. So often, if you could drag visitors out of London, they would often go to Oxford, very traditional, perhaps the Cotswolds, which is very traditional villages, Stonehenge. I have to admit, I've never been to Stonehenge myself, yeah, and then Bath as well. So that's a very, very sort of like quick traditional visit. Our city is what I like to call it is the world's most famous spa city, and really because we were established when the Romans came to conquer, because we have these like special waters, so it was seen as a very, very sort of sacred place, really, and they'd be at temples and Roman baths, which are a very, very famous visitor attraction today, and a very beautiful place actually. We are a really beautiful city. It's one of a very, very desirable place to live. We have all this amazing Georgian architecture that's very, very well preserved. And we are the safest city in the UK according to a student survey for the last 3 years running, so we'll talk about that later. And I quite like this picture. I'd say Bath is really, it's all about arts and culture, really, and you'll see this picture here is actually of the Jane Austen festival that they had in Bath. And I don't know if you guys were around when, have you seen?
I was here, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't see. Go to it. Right, the first time I moved to Bath, there was the Jane Austen festival, and everyone in the street was looking like that, in bonnets and breeches and things like this, and I'm like, where am I? Is it always going to be like this? But it's quite interesting, and it's very, very famous, and it kind of just sort of shows the sort of the tradition and the history that runs through our city. Right, about Bath Spa University. So now you know about Bath, you can understand why we're called Spa University, named after those Roman baths, really. A bit about the campuses. We've got 3 main campuses, and we're actually today speaking to you from the international office at Newton Park, which is our biggest campus. It's about 15 minutes outside the city centre, and we have like a mix of heritage and modern buildings. James, you're mainly based here, aren't you? Newton Park. Do you like it?
Yeah, I really like that. There's a lake in the back, so it's always nice to get a break.
Yeah, it is kind of nice, isn't it? So we're really lucky. We've got a lot of space. The second campus, is called Zion Hill, and this is actually dedicated for art and design. And the history of our university, really, we were founded as an art and design school. So there's one campus that is dedicated there, and that's your campus, isn't it, Thomas? Yeah. Do you like it?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's nice and small, so you get to know a lot of people, which is really good to create contacts in fashion and contextual studies, which is phenomenal. As a photographer, you just need contacts, so you can just go round the corner and you go in the workshop and you say, can you make me this? Come back and you have a frame and you can put your photograph in, or it's a good area to collaborate. So,
excellent. That's what we want. We want collaboration. That's important. Okay, and finally, we also have Caution Court. Now, this is mainly like our graduate and research centre, and it's a bit way out of Bath actually. It's in Wiltshire, so it's about sort of like half an hour. Very nice, very lovely, very quiet little village, really. So the creative writers, I think, love it there. Okay, so that is a little bit about the university. So we are going to go through 10 secrets to studying abroad. And the first one is a bit of a surprise, but you won't be going to college, okay? We don't have college here, we have university, and we tend to call universities rather than 2-year college and 4-year college. So was that a bit confusing, first of all, James, when you came?
Yeah, it was, because I say that I go to college, but here they say that they're going to university because college here is more like our version of high school. So when I would say, oh, I go to college back home, they thought I was still 16, 17, 15,
That's
which
right.
is not the case.
Yeah, basically. So we say uni quite a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
Is that right? Or,
yeah, well, university is a long word, so
yeah.
uni is easier.
uni. So you get a uni, really? Yeah. Okay, that's great. So remember, if you're coming to here, you're not coming to college. Right, number 2. The state rules. Now, the reason that I put this one on is because in the UK, a bit serious this one, most of our universities are actually owned by the government. They're state-run, really. Remember, we are a small country. We have about 130 universities, which, oh gosh, I don't know how many there are in the
More than that.
Definitely more than that. So, and most of them, all by about 4, are actually government funded. Money from the public purse, and they are not controlled, because that sounds a little bit too scary, but actually the quality and everything comes from the university. So we're not allowed to be called a university unless we've got all that government approval, really. So it gives you a sort of sense that you're going to get really good facilities, you know that everything's well funded, and you know that the quality of the education is top notch as well. So I don't know, have you got any comments on the facilities here?
I think just to kind of
compare,
reiterate what you were saying, just in maybe a way that might be easier for US students to understand, is that it'd be like if Washington, D.C. said all the colleges and universities in the US had to be at this standard, then that would kind of be like the way it is here.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Because it's not that in the United States, is it?
No, because in the States you can have, like, my school back home is accredited by a different body than the one that's just across town. So it's different accreditations, different levels, and while that might be a good thing and it's competitive in the States, but here everything's, you just know that you're getting solid education.
Yeah, and I think it's partly because our country is quite small, we act as a state, I guess, don't we, really? Exactly. So it's a bit easier for us to manage, really. Have you got any comments, Thomas, on the quality and the standard here?
Well, it's very, I come from Italy, so it's very different, and it's very more student-based, so there's a lot more awareness about students. When you come to England, there's actually, you live the student life, and in Italy you just transit from being a high school student to being something between an adult and a student. There's not the reason why I love England is because you get a lot of discounts, promotions, free entries if you're a student, wristbands and parties and stuff like that. So it's a culture that supports students. So if you need a job, you can talk to your employer, and you tell him you're a student. He's going to be, he or she is going to be very willing to not to compromise, but to reschedule your timetable according to your studies, and you don't get that in Italy. So it's very different, and I like the fact that people are aware about students and the fact that you are studying, but you need a job, so they try to help you. So that's a very nice thing to have.
Yeah, handy. Handy to have that extra money.
Very handy.
We all like a bit of money, it has to be said. Okay, let's go on to number 3. Have I clicked? Yep. Yes. Okay, number 3, you won't be going to classes. Classes, basically. I put that one on here because we have a different system to what you've been used to in the United States. And we don't have classes in such where you can take many, many different things. Like, forgive me if I hope I'm explaining this in the right way. We have more of a narrower system. Remember, you're going to be here on a degree for 3 years, so you tend to sort of like do things that are to do with your major, and we tend to call them modules rather than classes. So there is a significant difference, isn't there, James?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely, a lot of my professors, what did they call them? I still don't call them the right name, the proper name. I still call them professors.
I think that we mainly say lecturers, and professors, they probably love you for calling them professors, because that's the highest lecturer you can have.
I still say professors, and you go to your lecture, which is like lecture similar to the US, but then you have a what do you call it? A lab, which would be the
seminar?
module
Yeah.
or seminar. Yeah. So it's a little different in that aspect.
And it takes a bit of getting used to, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Okay, Thomas, because you're on a creative subject, aren't you? So do you do lots of different modules, or how's your course structured?
Well, we have two major modules. One is contextual studies, and the other one is basically the core module of photography. So one is theory and philosophy of photography, and the other one is basically practice what you preach, basically. So yeah, we do have lectures and we do have seminars, and we do also have studio-based, like inside or outdoor studio sessions.
You're studying photography, and you are just dedicated to photography.
Yes, I am.
Basically. So slightly different when, because I know in the US when I see the transcripts when you guys apply and you've done lots of different things like basketballs down as like credits and things like that. We don't have the luxury of that, unfortunately.
No, I mean, basketball provides a lot of different sports. There's just a new one. Friend of mine, she put it up. I'm a basketball. And so like sports are starting to come up, but you don't get extra credits, or you don't get, I don't know.
You can't take that as a class.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically your free time and a hobby, and it's a great way to make friends and just to go out and have a blast with people. So yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so remember that. So if you're not really into class, you don't want to go to class, the UK could be a good place for you. Okay, number 4. Right, you do not have to study for a degree. Now, this might sound a bit strange because the whole reason that you're coming to university is to get a degree. However, what I'm thinking about is you guys, you're like at high school now, and then in different ways that you can come to study abroad. So one thing is that you can come as a full degree student, like Thomas is, or you can come as on a semester or a year programme and take your credits back to university. Or your college, like James is, or you could also come as a transfer student as well. So if you guys are at a junior college and you're doing a 2-year associates, you can come and transfer to us, and we would act like your 4-year college, and you can come. So there's different ways that you can take up that opportunity of coming to study abroad as well. So James, you're here for a year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. How's it gone so far?
It's great. My year is kind of winding down now, so I hate to think about going home. But it's been an awesome experience.
Yeah. Good. Oh, really good. And you're doing your exams at the moment.
Yeah.
Which I learned are finals.
Yeah. Their finals here are called exams. I'm a business student, so I sit in a room for 2 hours and have to write graphs and reports and paragraphs and bullet points for 2 hours. I hear that other students don't have to do that, and maybe it's just the business department here, but I do have finals, and I actually have one tomorrow.
So we're lucky that we've got James here.
Yeah,
you need to go home today.
Actually, I think I'm pretty prepared for that.
Oh, okay. Well, we look forward to finding the results. We'll tweet everyone. We'll tweet everyone afterwards. Right, Thomas, as a 4-year degree student, how's it been?
Well, I last year was doing biology, so a big transition from science to basically creative arts. But yeah, it's good. I like the transition. I like the fact that it's more free and liberal, so I can adjust and you have your own say in your own work. So that's good. But you always have to have it in a way backed up or supported by research and other photographers. So it's always it's an academic study, but at the same time it's a personal growth. So yeah, it's good.
Excellent. And are you doing exams?
No
No.
exams, which is the beauty of this course.
Slightly jealous,
you just have coursework. So like for first year you have I think 8. Is it 8? Basically every 4 weeks you have a project. That's going to be the overall of your marks. So yeah, basically during your year you basically sum up the marks for your last. Basically what you would actually have an exam, but we don't have one, so it's just coursework.
Yeah, so tough. It depends what sort of side of the fence you're on. If you like to sort of like study and cram everything at the end, you want to be James' camp. if you think like, oh, I don't know about that, actually you might want to be in Thomas's camp, so we'll see. Okay, well good luck to you guys anyway. Okay, number 5. Oh, now this one we discussed before. You won't be studying general education. Now, I have to make sure I know what I'm talking about here. You guys in the United States, I know that you have classes in general education or Gen Ed, I hear it. Gen Ed. See, I know how to speak American, basically. Whereas we don't really have that here, and that I think that it is again partly because our degree is shorter. It's this 3-year degree really, and partly because we've almost done, I think, an extra year at school than you guys, and we have like a sort of an A-level system which we class as our general ed, and then you come and as we discussed, you kind of like specialise within your course. So you want to study business, you come and you do business modules, or if you want to study photography, you tend to concentrate on photography. Now that doesn't mean you sort of can choose some other different ones, but that's sort of like generally how it is, so it's slightly different. So is it a good thing or a bad thing, James? Do you miss Gen Eds?
I do not miss Gen Eds. I certainly don't. Once you get out of high school, or at least once I got out of high school, I was so excited to just be done. And then I decided to go to uni, or college. And then I had to go back and I had to do another math class. And which, yeah, you need to know how to add numbers in business, but
don't want to do the whole class.
Just not the corner of the triangle in the degrees. I just didn't want to do it all over again, but I persevered through it, and now I'm here. So
well done.
Yeah.
Well done. We're very glad. Anyway.
And I can relate to what you said. I mean, from Italy, you do 11, 12 subjects for your A level, so it's basically you're cramming a lot of general knowledge, and it's not as detailed as you would have it in England, but it's fairly broad and very detailed. And when you come out, you just, like you say, you just don't want to deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why I moved here to England, because I was looking in biology, and in England you do biology, that's it, and that's what I wanted to do. But in Italy you had to take a physics, chemistry and math exam before doing biology. So I was like, no, thank you.
Really scary.
So yeah.
So and then you could swap and you could do photography anyway.
Exactly.
I'm very happy with that.
One of the things I noticed here, kind of on the academic side, is that here it's a year-long class or module, as they say here.
Yeah.
So it's not like in the States where the majority, which I think most universities or colleges go by semester or trimester, or quarters. And here you're in it for the whole year, which I like that because it allowed me to meet my professors, lecturers, and I got closer with them and they could help me when I needed.
Yeah.
And I thought that was easier than once you get to know your classmates and your projects and you've kind of got that concreted in your mind.
Yeah.
And then at Christmas time or during the holidays, you have to switch and you're in a whole different classroom with new people and another professor, lecturer. So I like that. it was different.
So yeah,
but it
different,
was beneficial.
but it's good. Yeah, yeah. They're just two very different ways, really, aren't they? And I think it's part of the trick is just having that mindset. And as soon as you sort of like can switch, okay, I'm in the UK now. This is how I've got to do it in the UK.
Yeah.
It's fine. Otherwise,
Exactly.
if you're trying to do it US style in the UK, it gets a bit stressful, I
Yeah.
imagine. So, oh yeah, very, very interesting. So a lot of differences there. Okay, so let's go on to number 6. Okay, you do not have to be rich, but you may spend a lot of money. The reason that I put on this one is that you guys might be thinking about studying abroad and thinking like, oh no, I'll never be able to afford it. This is just something that is just not in my sphere. And really, as we said before, you may not have the opportunity to come for a whole 3 years, but you might have the opportunity to come for a semester or a year, which makes it a bit manageable finance-wise as well. And then James, you've been working a lot, haven't you, while you've been here, which has been nice.
Yeah. I've been working for a local grocery company,
Okay.
and they're really cool. So I kind of got that British aspect, but I'm also learning money, getting money. So that's nice. And it definitely pays for my night outs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bath is not cheap. I mean, it's an expensive place to live in, but it's, if you understand how to sort out your money and how to balance it between food, going out, and whatever you need else, then you should be fine. So it's just a question of not overspending in Freshers Week, and as soon as you get your money to basically go nuts and get drunk.
You definitely have to learn some self-discipline while you're here, and that's a good skill to learn early on, I think, because now I've been here for 9 months, 10 months, and I'm perfect at budgeting, and I'm so upset that I have to go back and have to redo everything.
Oh gosh! And you said Freshers Week there. Do you have Freshers Week in the United States? Is it the same thing? Is it called something different?
Yeah, it's kind of. It depends on each school, and again, this kind of has to do with whether or not it's a private or public school, because even big universities have really nice induction weeks, or freshman orientation. We call them orientation weeks.
Okay.
We don't have a whole week necessarily, which was so nice. And I spent most of my summer earnings during freshman week here because there's so many activities going on, and that was so much fun. One of the first things they tell you is how to not go broke in the book that they give you at orientation.
That is actually very
I
cool.
didn't read that little article because I just had too much fun. But we do have something kind of similar, but it's usually about a day or two.
Okay. Well, I mean, I heard actually in one of the meetings that Freshers Week is going to be extended for international students next year. Really? It's because we always ask the students to come if you're coming from overseas, to sort of come a little bit earlier, really. To settle in. And sometimes you have to do a bit of boring stuff, like opening a bank account and finding where you live and buying plates and things like that. But the student union realised that as we've got more students coming overseas, they want to extend the week. So spending more money probably, but probably more activities. And another interesting thing that I cannot believe they decided at the university after feedback from students was that they're going to start classes or any sessions in Freshers Week at 11 o'clock because of all the nighttime parties going on.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
And I was like, really? Wow.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of like sweet feedback from partnering with students, which is quite interesting.
No more waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning.
And what about you, Thomas? Are you rich?
No, definitely not. No, I don't get the as I didn't live in the UK for 3 years. I don't get the student support grant. So it's basically backed up by my parents, and I need to work. So it's I need to be very careful. When you go out, I never go out. This is the thing that I learned: never go out with your credit card, because when you're drunk, you just tend to use it. So just go out with like £10, and with that £10, I just buy the ticket to the club and a couple of drinks. If you want to drink, but yeah.
Okay.
So that's how I manage to budget my expenses.
Expensive
Yes.
expenses, depending on.
Yeah.
Okay, so some really good tips there, everyone, when you're thinking about your student budget. Very important. Okay, next one. Right, number 7. All the smart students don't get 90%. Okay, I think I might have read it wrong in rehearsal. So now this one really stems from, we have a very different marking system in the UK to what happens in the United States. And generally, if you're doing really well and you're a good student in the UK, you'll be scoring between sort of like 50, 60, between 55, 65 perhaps, you know, and that's brilliant, that's really good, you're doing really, really well. If you're excellent genius, you'll be getting 70%. You hardly ever get over 70. Now, I know that sounds like really tight, but it's just kind of how it is. We have a completely different system. And when we have degree classifications, we don't have a GPA system. We have like a first class honours, upper second class honours, and then a lower second class honours, and then a third. And then it's over 70%, which are the first class honours really, and then over 60, I think it's like a 2-1. So it sounds really strange because it's a very, very different scale, isn't it, James? And I know that you were a bit shocked when you first came.
Yeah, my first grade was a 54, and I worked really hard on this essay, and I thought I did a good job, and went to my tutor, and he was like, yeah, that's your grade. That's not a bad grade. Like, you passed, you didn't fail. You didn't get a first, but
you did well.
But yeah, it was, the average I think was actually below me. And so I was like, what? You guys have this whole system wrong. You're doing it wrong over here. I'm the right one. But come to find out, no, like, an A is technically 70% to 100%.
That's right, yeah.
But you just, it's a completely, I know that sounds bonkers to everybody, but you just have to get over that grading system.
Yeah, because it could drive you mad, really. Thomas, have you had a similar experience?
Well, not really, because I just came from high school in Italy to uni here, so I didn't do...
So you got used to it?
Yeah, I just never managed to take part into the Italian university system. So
yeah. We do tell everyone actually, like before you guys come, and we speak to your parents and say, like, you know, and sort of explain the good grades and stuff. Everyone does forget about it, and then they get a bit of a shock when they get their first paper, and it's like, really? Oh my gosh, and we're going to have to go home. But actually, it's not like that at all. So it's really strange, and I really, really don't know where it's come from, but it's kind of like our tradition, so we're stuck with it. So you guys, with all your GPAs of like 3.7, 3.8, 3.9, and all these 90% you get, you know, for us, it's just like off the scale, basically. Okay, next one. Right, number 8. Right, you won't have any roommates. Right?
Yes, you have housemates.
Yeah, basically. Thomas, you had a good way to describe this, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's the best way to describe it, but basically, I'll be doing basically exchange for one semester in Chicago, and I was kind of surprised to see that you'll be living with other people inside your room. That's how I basically explained it. Basically, in England, when you have a room, it's just yourself. It's basically your bed, your desk, and you have your private space, but you share a house with other people. And some assuming in America, that's the kind of the luxury deal. That's what I kind of got.
You have to pay more in the States if you want a single room. We
Okay.
do have them, but it's not as common.
Okay, so it's more common to have like other
A roommate, or
Okay.
some universities you have like 4 people in a room. Of course, it's much bigger than the ones here. Or you have like 2. There's probably like 2 or 3 people, and then they share another bathroom with another room.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So then there's like 6 people to a bathroom, but there's only 3 people to a room, which that's not the case here. You just have a single room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like our single rooms, but I think perhaps we're a bit unsocial or something like that. But it's really true. And we have halls of residence here on campus, and we're just opening some new ones not up the road, at the other side of the campus actually, that we're getting really, really excited about. They're not quite ready yet. And they've all been done as single rooms, and you have your own bathroom as well. So it's a little bathroom shower room, so it's a little bit like a kind of like little hotel room, really.
That's sweet.
Yeah. And but within that, you're kind of like within a house, really. So rather than roommates, as some says, we tend to say housemates, housemates. And I know when I've had questions from students who are thinking of coming from the United States, they're like, oh, what's the roommate system like? And it's like, oh, I have to sort of step back and remember that even though we speak the same language, we have these sort of differences, really. So sort of like housemates is more common. And then James, you have got a homestay, haven't you?
Yeah, a homestay is a host family. Again, something different. I live with a family that has 3 kids, and they ask you if you want to live with a family with kids when you request that. So I'm sure you could live with a host family that doesn't have kids or just has dogs. British people love
I want to
their
live
dogs.
with fish. Yeah, I want to live with cats and dogs.
Yeah, but they're great. My host family. The daughter is 14, Lewis is 11, and Archie is 6. And
I bet they love you.
I think
like
they do.
uncle.
Yeah. Well, not that old, but Archie and me hang out, so we're best friends.
Oh, that's a really nice experience.
Yeah,
I'm great
it
for
definitely
them.
is. And there's lots that I've learned that I wouldn't have learned anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like just about the environment and about bath and where to get towels at. The best place to get fish and chips at on a Thursday. So, yeah.
Oh, and how's the food? Talking of fish and chips.
Yeah. Chips are fries, and chips in America are called crisps.
Oh, yeah.
Here. So if you ask somebody for fries, or if you ask somebody for chips here, you'll get maybe not what you're thinking about. But no, it's good. My host family, they like to cook a lot of Indian and Thai food.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of that, and the traditional English, the roast dinner. I don't like roast dinner because I don't like potatoes. But if you like roast dinner and potatoes, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Go for it.
You have to have at least one decent roast dinner while
Yeah.
you're over here. I mean.
You have to try it.
Yeah.
You don't know unless you try it.
Yeah. Oh, Thomas, you're an Italian.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think of the food?
Half and half. So half English, half Italian. Yeah, I mean, I was brought up with both cuisines, so
Yeah.
to me the transition wasn't too bad. Apart from pizzas, because like in Italy, I was in Naples recently. One large pizza was like £3. You buy it here, large pizza is £15, and I'm like, it's ridiculously expensive, and the quality is not as good as Italian. But I did find recently, I don't know if you tried it, Pizza La Vita.
Oh.
They do actually make the best pizza
I've
in
driven
Bath.
past there.
Where is it?
It's Upper Bristol Road.
Yeah.
And it's like a small shop, like it's not shop, but
Yeah.
it's a small place. But they are linked with Just Eat, so you don't pay commission when they come. 20 minutes and you have pizza on your door.
I don't drive here, so I guess I don't go that way. Probably that's why.
However, that's very interesting because I think a stereotypical student dinner would be ordering a pizza.
Yeah, but I can afford.
They do have Domino's here and Pizza Hut in Bath, so you're fine. And they do deliver. I know this for a fact.
Yeah,
so same over.
Yeah, lots of takeaways.
Lots of takeaways. So
Very expensive.
Okay, so same world over there. Interested. Okay, brilliant. So good shout out for La Vita Pizza going out live across the states. We'll be asking them permission. Right. Okay. This is. I don't know if this is a secret or not, but it's a nice discussion point. Really, it's like make your university life a stepping stone to travel. And the reason why I say this is that you saw the map of England earlier on, and we're very, very small. So it's quite nice to sort of travel around all the different parts of the UK as well, England, Scotland, even Ireland and stuff. Or you can hop on a plane, and in an hour's time you could be in Spain, another hour the other way you could be in Amsterdam or France, or a little bit further in Italy, really. So Europe is really, really within reach, because we're very, very small, really. So, and I know, Jade, you've taken advantage and done lots of travelling, haven't you?
Yeah. I have. I went to Greece for my birthday, which that was amazing. Opa. And then I went to Dublin for St. Patrick's Day, which is huge in the States. Everybody's probably like, whoa! But that was amazing. I met quite a few Americans over there while I was over there, and I was like, hey, where are you from? Oh, no way, I'm 5 hours away from you. It's really funny. But no, Bath is a great place to live in terms of traveling. There's not an airport in the city, but the closest one is only 45 minutes to an hour away. If you need to fly anywhere. And then there's trains. I'm sure East Coasters will simplify. I can't even say that.
Sympathize.
There we go. Can't speak English. That word. But I'm from the West Coast, and we don't have a whole lot of interconnected cities unless you're in a really metropolitan area. And so coming here, and there's trains and buses to go everywhere so quickly and easily, and it's really cheap too. It's so nice to just even travel around the country. I've been to Scotland and Wales, which is really cool. It was just a unique experience, and I hope to do it again eventually.
Yeah, because you're planning to go to a couple of other places, aren't you?
Yeah.
After the exams.
Yeah. After my finals. I'm going to Italy, and I'm hoping to get to Paris, the big European feat. And I've been to London several times, but I'll probably end up going there again. And I'm hoping to get to Brussels too.
Lovely. I've never been to Brussels myself, so I'm always really jealous when I hear it.
Let's go try the chocolate and the waffles.
Yes.
Americans
the
love
museum,
waffles.
the chocolate museum, you have to do that.
Yeah,
Really cool.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. The chocolate fountain.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yes.
So there's loads of things. And Thomas, what about yourself?
Well, since I've been coming to England since I was basically the age of 1, because my dad is English, so my gran lives here. London is kind of my home, my second home. So it's fairly easy to get to London. I mean, with a train, it takes, like you said, 90 minutes.
I was there today. I only came back for this webcast.